Hello, everyone. My name is Juan Yanes from Squiz. Today's webinar is How to Enhance the Student Experience with Powerful Site Search. It's presented by Cesar Chevalier, Vice President for Squiz North America. Before we begin, I'd like to start with a little bit of housekeeping. So I'm the Regional Marketing Manager here at Squiz, and I'll be moderating today's webinar. As usual, today's webinar will be recorded and we'll be sending the link along with the slides in the next couple of days. Cesar will be presenting and he will be taking questions for about 5 to 10 minutes at the end of the presentation. Please submit any questions you may have in the Q&A tab throughout the presentation and we'll get to them at the end. Our agenda for today. Brief introduction to who is Squiz. Secondly, changing the way you think about search. How search enhances the student experience, followed by a Q&A session and key university outcomes. So without further ado, I'll be handing it over to Cesar Chevalier. Cesar?
Hey Juan, thanks for that. I'm just going to share my screen now and just confirm that you all can see my screen. All right, great. Who or what is Squiz? So the short version is we're a digital services delivery organization, and that sounds very technical and formal, but might not make much sense. And so please allow me to elaborate. And so on your university website, you allow your constituents to find information about programs, activities, and clubs they can give to your school, they can apply to the school, and in most cases, they can access their grades, degree progress. These are all digital services you provide to your audience, and we enable those services through our digital experience platform. One component of that platform is search, intelligent search, which is where we're going to focus today's conversation. And so before the what is Squiz, right? So Squiz is actually Australian slang. It means to have a look. We were founded in Australia, Sydney, Australia, 21 years ago, and I'm sure they never thought I'd be here sitting in New York explaining what Squiz means to a bunch of Americans, but here we are nonetheless. So Squiz, Australian slang for to have a look. Right, so I mentioned Australia. There's a reason for that. Our U.S. headquarters are here in New York, about a block and a half away from that giant tree in Rockefeller Center. However, globally, we're headquartered in Sydney, Australia. We have offices all across the world and over 500 staff. And we leverage those offices to provide true 24/7 support to all of our customers. I call this slide obligatory logo soup. So we have about 140 universities in the US using our technology. About half of the Australian universities use our technology, and about a third of the UK universities. We've been in this space for over 20 years. The majority of our customers globally are in higher education and or government. So yeah, we've been at this for a long time, and some of these brands you'll recognize, and you probably recognize most of them actually. One of the agenda points was to change the way you think about search. And just to set the stage a bit, I'd like to share some stats with you to help illustrate the importance of search to your users. Many universities build SEO plans to ensure prospective students can find their university online, but typically not as much effort is put into ensuring users can discover content once they actually get to your website. So I'll share why that's of equal importance to your users' experience as well. So we ran a survey earlier this year, and we discovered that nearly half of all web traffic heads straight for the search bar the moment they arrive at your website. This isn't too surprising to us because this is how most of your users, Gen Z, have been conditioned to discover content by all of the platforms they use day to day, such as e-commerce sites like Amazon, you can see on the screen, or media hubs like Netflix and Hulu, or even social media. They know that the quickest way to content is through search, and the users expect the minute they engage, search will engage them back, which is, again, what you're seeing here in Amazon search bar. Visitors who use site search convert at nearly 3 times the rate of non-searchers. There's also a pretty simple rationale behind this one as well. Someone searching for something on your website is demonstrating intent. They're not casually perusing your site. They've reached your site with a purpose. So it's now up to you to help connect them with what they're looking for. This is not dissimilar to going to a shop and looking for something specifically versus choosing to casually browse a shop. If you're there with a purpose, you're more likely to convert and get the thing that you're looking for. Site search visitors are 5 times more valuable than normal visitors. So I'll give you a bit of background on this one. So everyone who attended today will get this deck. And one of our most recent and powerful case studies is British Columbia Institute of Technology up in British Columbia in Vancouver. Alan Etkin, our key contact there, recently spoke at AMA for Higher Education back in Vegas back in November, and at our Global Summit in Sydney back in October. And the short version is, through analysis of his web traffic and tendencies, he's assigned a goal value to each type of conversion or action on the university's website. He's calculated that in the first year since deploying funnel-back search, it is directly correlated to a $5 million increase in goal value, which he then realized meant that search users were 5 times more valuable than a normal website visitor. As an aside, goal value is not revenue, but it's the closest proxy you can have for revenue when you're not an e-commerce website. So let's tie that all together and talk about what that means for the actual student experience, because I've just given you a bunch of stats to kind of set the stage. So all that said, the best companies place a strategic focus on the search experience for their users. They do this because they understand that their customers are digital natives and have come to expect this experience. They do this to drive conversion, but in their world, conversion means a direct sale. In your world, it could mean a student applying, it could mean a student getting information they need to apply, it could mean that student getting information they need to succeed while at your university. But here's the reality of university websites. College website design typically focuses on what an institution wants to say, not necessarily what prospective students and others want to know. Well, this is a bit of a joke, the background image here at Monsters University. This is obviously a fictitious university that Disney set up for their Monsters University movie, but this looks eerily similar to a lot of the university websites that we see today. Here's just a funny Venn diagram we share with people. So you've got on the left side things on the front page of a university website, and on the right side things people actually go there looking for. And the overlap is the name of the school. And I won't read this all to you, but I do want to draw your attention to two of the stats up top. So 87% of students said that it was important to them that institutions they applied for were technologically savvy. 67% of students are overwhelmed by the amount of information on college websites. What does this mean? Essentially, you've got to find a way to be able to connect those students with the content in a medium that's not overwhelming, that gets them to that information that you guys have built for them. Universities spend a ton of time creating content to ensure the student success, to ensure the students can apply and find that information. But if the students can't find it, it's kind of all being done in vain. Enough of the gloom and doom. We said we'd tell you how to leverage search to enhance student experience. So let's do that. We built a solution for it, and that solution is called Funnelback for Higher Education. We've taken our 20+ years of experience in higher education and our decade plus deploying search solutions in higher education. We've built a product exclusively for higher education. And rather than show you a demo or take you through more slides, I'm actually going to jump out and show you some live examples of how we're using this product and universities are using this product to enhance the student experience today. So I'm going to confirm that you can see that I've switched my tab over to LMU, LA. Juan, could you just confirm that? Excellent, great. This is LMU's website. This is a live website, and LMU are in the news right now because they're actually hosting the Democratic National Debate tomorrow. Great. So I'm on their homepage, and let me just back out a second. And so I'm going to hit the search bar, right? And the minute I hit the search bar, I can already see the things I'm likely to find in the search experience. But as I begin to type things into the search experience, you'll notice that I've got results coming back to me. This is similar to that experience we showed you earlier on Amazon, a lot of those really good e-commerce sites, in that as a student, as a prospective student, as a faculty member, the information's coming to me. So the minute I start to type letters into what we call this concierge experience right here, I've got results coming back to me, which is exactly what search should be about. The purpose of search is to connect your users with the content they're looking for in as little time as possible, with as few steps as possible. And that is literally the reason why we created concierge. And so as I type in ENG, and I'm going to refine this term a little bit more, I've got English now, I've got a few things happening here. On the left-hand side, I've got organic suggestions coming up. in the middle, I've got people coming up, and on the right-hand side, I've got programs coming up. This is done deliberately, and this is configurable, but what we've done here at LMU is very deliberate. So the idea here is that as a prospective student, if I were looking for just the term English, I can just execute the search and it can find what I'm looking for. But if I were looking for an actual person, now I've got some really rich people results coming through. So these results here in the middle, they look and feel different than the results on the left. I can tell by looking at them very plainly that these results are actually a person, that this is a directory result, which is the point, that if I were looking for Professor Paul Harris, without me having to drill down, without me having to search any further, I can get the result from Paul back with as little friction as possible. Conversely, if I were looking for programs, I've got that coming to me as well. But what happens when I actually execute the search? So let's do that. Great. So now I'm on the search homepage, and a lot of really cool things are happening here. So I'll break it down for you. So right now I've got the search, everything showing up here. But we talked earlier, if you read the slide on the product, one of the things it talked about was being able to group search into logical groupings, for lack of a better word. And so I've got, if I were looking for a directory result, if I were looking for an actual department, I can quickly tab over to the directory, and again, with as little friction as possible, I've got the English department with a phone number, and and as well as other professors from the department as well. But if I were looking for the English department, the first result I see is actually the English department. I can call them right from here. If I were actually interested in programs, I tab over to programs. Here I have a list of LMU's programs that are all related to English. And to take this a step further, and again, about when we talk about content discovery and helping your students down a path of discovering the programs that you guys offer, I can also shortlist programs that are offered at the school. So you see, I've taken the liberty to shortlist some of them right here. I'm going to remove these because I'm going to say, you know what, I've changed my mind. Now I'm actually quite interested in screenwriting minor for English majors, and I'm also quite interested in actually teaching English teaching English to speakers of other languages. So now those are both in my shortlist. If I click up and I go to my shortlist, I now see the programs that I've shortlisted, and those are available to me. And if I leave this site and come back, they'll still persist. And this is a really powerful feature because as a prospective student, as I'm going through trying to compare the courses, that could become overwhelming, especially if the school offers hundreds of programs. And so for me, I get to very simply see the things that matter to me and the programs that I was interested in, and even share this with my friends, with my parents as well. So I'm going to go back out of this for a second. I'm going to go back to the homepage and show you some other cool things that are happening here on this page. So before I get any of these awesome organic results down here, I've got an advertisement, because at LMU, the English department is actually called the Balmain College of English. And the first thing they want you to know when you search for the word English is that they've got the Balmain College of English department, and that's probably the first thing you are looking for if you're looking for English. But if I'm a Gen Zer and I'm a bit wary of clicking on advertisements, my first organic result is actually very similar. Yep. If I were to tab over to events, I can also see all the events that are related to English. And these events are set up in a really cool way in that, again, these events are formatted differently than the organic results are formatted. They're formatted different than the programs are formatted. If I go to the event, I'm seeing all the things that are relevant to me about an event. I see the date, I see a synopsis of the event, I see the address of the event, and I see a thumbnail image as well. And this is also mobile friendly. So if I were to reduce my screen size and look at this from a mobile view, as a student browsing this on mobile, I can see all that key information right at my fingertips and be able to quickly get to and reserve a spot in one of these events. Let's bring this window back out. Another thing we're doing here, I'm going to update my search term just so I can pull in more results. Let's switch to engineering. As we search, as we index content, we can also index social media as well. So what we're doing at LMUA is we're bringing back not just their results of their websites and their web properties, we're also indexing their social media as well. So in this example, we're bringing back Facebook and YouTube, but you can also index Twitter as well. One thing I mentioned, or I haven't mentioned yet, is that if you're looking at social media, you'll notice the way that I can refine the search is by looking at whether I want to see Facebook or YouTube. If I were to tab over, for example, to events, now my ability to refine has now changed because it's contextual and configurable as well. And so now I'm looking at events, the things I can refine my search by are now the date and the event type. The same is true if I went to programs. If I were to go to programs, I can now refine them by the college or the program type at the university, which is really powerful because as a student, again, looking for information, again, the purpose of search is to connect your user with that content with as little friction as possible. I'm getting results that matter to me, and I also have a really quick and intuitive way for me to be able to drill down to the results that might be what I'm looking for specifically. So if I only want to look at, BS or BS minor, Bachelor's of Science minor, well then it's really easy for me to be able to quickly shortlist and only find the things that I'm looking for. Cool. And so I'm going to jump away from LMU's example for just 1 second, and I'm going to show you another example. Here is UND. It's one of my favorite search examples. So much like what you saw at UND, we've got the concierge popping up the minute I engage the search bar. But you might notice something here. This looks and feels like LMU's example I just shared with you, in that we've got the concierge, we've got the 3 columns. If I scroll out of here, I've got the similar tab set up as I had at LMU-LA, minus social media, because they chose not to index social media. But the point I'm making here is that this looks and feels like UND's website. We've adopted their color scheme, we've adopted their fonts. It looks and feels like it's part of the website, which is really important because when a user hits the search page, they shouldn't be greeted by 10 blue links on the page. It should feel like it's part of your website. It should be a similar look and feel as the rest of it, so they have the same experience on that page. And so what we've done here is, because Funnelback is such a flexible tool, we've given UND all the power of what LMU-LA has, but through the lens of their own design and how they want it to look. And so, again, I'm sorry, we're getting emergency alert on everyone's phone. Sorry for the interruption, guys. Apparently there's snow happening and icy roads. All right, sorry, so back to this. And so again, I mentioned Funnelback, really flexible, really powerful, super configurable. And so as I look over here and I look to my left, you can see that I've got some ability to refine as well. And this, again, is different than what you saw at LMU-LA. Now, I won't focus too much on this because you've just seen this and I don't want to keep on repeating myself. But one thing I will show you is that UND has set up their programs in a really smart way as well. And so if I look at the programs here at UND, I've got these really large thumbnail images coming through. Again, this looks like I'm looking at programs. I've also got the ability to see whether this course is available online or whether it's on the campus. So again, as a prospective student looking at this, browsing this university website and searching for aerospace programs, I'm quickly greeted by the programs that are relevant to me. So I know there are 27. I can see the degree type, and I can also see where I can take those courses, which again is all information that's super valuable to me as a prospective student. But UND, the reason I'm showing this example is that they've taken search a step further, which is really awesome. So search isn't always just for a search experience on your website. Because it's a search tool that has the ability to index content and present that content to your user, you can do some really cool things with search that help enhance the student experience, such as making it easier for them to be able to find programs. If you look here, looking for advanced search options, these tools are built for the job. So Program Finder. So I've already opened this, it's right over here. And so you can look for programs a number of ways. You can either search for programs, or you can use a filtering module, which I'm going to use right now. So before I go any further, you'll notice that UND have 360 programs. That's a lot. If you remember that slide I showed you before where I talked about students being overwhelmed by the amount of content on a website, if I'm a prospective student at this university, seeing 360 programs to have to sift through could potentially be overwhelming, and UND know that. And so that's why they've designed this Program Finder. So again, if I know that the field I'm most interested in is aerospace and aviation, they can simply just click on that. And instead of just being presented with a bunch of links or just a bunch of words on a page, instead I'm presented with those really rich thumbnail images and quick, just descriptions of what the programs are. So now instead of having 360 results, I've only got 15. And if I wanted to compare these and say, yep, I like this one, I'm interested in aviation, and I'm also interested in this one right here, I can quickly compare those programs. So I get a quick, snackable size of content to be able to review with all the relevant information. So how many credit hours does it take? How much time does it take to complete? What's the format of this course? Is it online? Is it on campus? What's the program type? And I can see that these are all different program types. So it's very unlikely I'd be looking at these three at one time, but because I can compare them, I can see that and choose maybe a course that's more relevant if I were, say, an undergrad student or postgrad student. Another really cool application of search that you'll see here is the directory and calendar. So I'm going to show you calendar. So here I am. I've got a feed of the events at UND. And again, much like the programs, there are a lot of events happening, many events. But if I, per chance, am an alumni, and I only care about alumni-related events, then let me just click on alumni. And now I only see the results that matter to me as an alumnus of the university. And so there are 7 events. I can see where they are, and there are even call to actions built right into it. This is really cool. Again, this is us providing, really UND providing their students the ability to quickly get to the content that matters, quickly find the events that matter, without having to sift through things that don't matter to them, which is really cool. One of the things I spoke about was the fact that Funnelback is very configurable. It's a really flexible platform. So I'm going to have a look at University of Buffalo's website real quick and show you what I mean by configurable. So I'm going to run a similar search term here on UB's website, and you'll notice that I've got the concierge popping up here as well. But what you'll also notice is that there are a few things missing here from what you saw in LMU and what you saw at UND. I don't have programs coming back, and I don't have people coming back, because UB have made the choice to implement it this way. This is how they want their search experience to be, and that's okay. When we work with universities, we'll explain to them what we think is best practice, and through our experience, what universities use. But the truth is that no one knows your content, no one knows your users better than you guys do. So sometimes you'll make a determination that is maybe against what we would suggest, but makes sense for your business. And that's what UB has done here, and that's okay because the tool is super flexible and allows you to do that. And so in this case, as you can see, when I looked at LMU LA, I had 3 distinct separate fields for results coming back to me right within the search bar on the homepage. Here I only have this, but that's still great. Again, what you'll notice is still, as I type in engineer, I've got results coming back to me. So still the search is reacting to me. It's presenting results to me, it's presenting suggestions to me, so it's doing what I expect to do. As a user of many other platforms, I expect that when I engage the search bar, it's going to present results back to me, and that's still happening here at UB as well. One of the things, if I can just go back in time a bit, when I was talking about LMU, I mentioned the fact that when I search for, and I'm going to run a separate term here now, I'm going to search for equal employment. So you'll notice these 2 advertisements showing up here. Now these are really subtle advertisements. Essentially, if I'm a student, or if I'm a user of their website and I'm searching for the term equal employment, it stands to reason that I could be potentially a student looking to contact student employment services, because that term is very much tied to labor, or I could be an actual employee of the university searching for that term, which would likely mean that I'm probably looking for HR. And so these are advertisements that LMU LA has put in to promote those 2 results to the top, because they believe it's likely that you're either a student or an employee. If you're searching for that term, that's what you want to see. Another really cool thing is happening on this page as well, this bit right here. And so LMU actually has a policy on equal employment, but they don't want that policy out in the public, because that policy is only relevant to people who are students or current employees. And so the only way I can see this result is if I were a student or an employee with a login. So it's behind the firewall. You can't get around this, so I can see that there is a result, and if I'm interested in it, I have to log in to see it. And we call that translucent search, which basically, this is us searching content that isn't publicly available, but presenting it to a public user, but also keeping some away from them so that they have to log in if they want to see the results. Really cool feature. But I want to talk about advertisements for a second, because this is a really subtle advertisement, but sometimes you don't want to be so subtle. Sometimes you want people to know exactly what you're trying to say, and you want to get that message out. And so I'll show you an example of one of our clients using our tool to really curate what their users are seeing and promote results that matter to the university. So I'm going to tab over to Cvtc. And so before I even type in anything, there are some cool things that are happening here. Before I type anything, I've got, hey, can't find what you're looking for? Why don't you contact us? And maybe we can help you out, right? I've got some search suggestions. So what about, what if I need access? So as a new student to the university, one of the things that students struggle with the most is that they get access to, 15, you have 15, who knows, I mean, dozens of systems. And some of them have, sometimes there's a single sign-on, but there are many platforms that they have to use, and they're not always going to have the same logins. And so how do I get access to the system that matters to me? So they've already baked in what they know are the most common search terms that students search for when they're at the university. And so, but I'm gonna run a search term here. I'm gonna say I want to apply to the university. Now again, some things are happening here. I've typed in the word apply, so now the suggestions have changed. They're providing me back organic suggestions. As well, they're also providing me programs. And so this is very similar to what you saw at LMULA, except that the format's changed. So it's the same kind of idea behind it, which is Cvtc is reacting to what I'm typing. As I type, as I change my search term, Cvtc reacts and changes what I see, which is important because that's what users expect. If I were to execute the search term, something really cool has happened here. So these are my organic search results down here. Before I even get to any of that, I've got this really awesome and bold three-step process of how to apply to Cvtc. So really, the purpose here is that no student who searches for apply on this website shouldn't be able to know how to apply. It's right in your face. The call to actions are baked right in, and the steps are really like just very clearly articulated. So if I were a prospective student here, I know that if I want to apply, I need to complete this application. And if I've already applied, because it's a simple three-step process, I know I need to worry about my financial aid application. But if I've done that already, then now I know I have to take the entrance requirements. And each one of these different buttons actually takes me to a different page. So if I were to go here to complete entrance requirements, I would be taken to Cvtc's landing page where I can sign up for a user account. If I go back and I go here to apply for financial aid, I get taken to Cvtc's page, which talks about financial aid, and I can get straight to my FAFSA application right from here. Again, the purpose of search, if we go back to enhancing the student experience, connect your students, connect your prospective students, connect your staff with the content they're looking for in as little time with as little effort as possible. This is the epitome of that. It doesn't just stop here though. If I were to search for accounting at the university, I'll get back all the information that matters to me as a prospective student. So I can see, before I start seeing the organic search results down here, I can see the associate's degree here for accounting. I can see how many credits I need. I can see the delivery method, so my choice. It can either be online, it can be on the campus. I can see when it starts. There's one semester that starts in August and one that starts in January. I can also see the estimated program cost, which is really important. If I'm applying to a two-year college, it stands to reason that the cost of the university probably matters to me. And so all of the guesswork that goes into a student applying to university is really removed by just having a really intelligent site search experience. All the information that I would want and need is all right here presented to me right in my face, which is just a really powerful thing to do. I think before I move on to covering how you do this, I want to show you one other application of this, and maybe just outside of the higher education space. I'm going to show this example here. I've searched for pet policy on Southwest Airlines website, and before I get any organic results down here, I get 3 advertisements showing up in my face. I've got their pet fair policy, I've got their emotional support animal policy, and I've got their trained service animal policy. And there's a reason for this. If I'm on an airline and I'm searching for something on an airline, it stands to reason that I'm going to look for 2 things on the airline website. I'm either going to look for flights, which I wouldn't do in this experience. I have my own separate, search experience for flights, which is right over here. And I'm just going to go back and search this again. But if I'm not searching for a flight, I'm probably searching for the policies of the airline. And so that's why here, when I search for a pet policy on the Southwest Airlines website, I'm defaulted to FAQs and policies. I can choose to expand it out to all results, but they know that this is what matters to me. And so these same applications of things that matter to university and providing that experience to the user, that same thing that we're talking about that best companies do, it's not just e-commerce sites, it's not just universities. This is the experience that users expect, irrespective of the industry that you're in. Right. What I want to do now is show you how we create those advertisements, and essentially take you a step further into what we do, what we provide to you with the tool like Funnelback, and how we help you learn about your users. And so this is our dashboard, and this comes out of the box of the platform. And so I've shown you what the users see in the front end, but now I want to show you what your users will see on the back end. And so Funnelback, like any great search tool, we provide you the ability to see what those people are actually searching for. One of the really cool things about search, and the reason why we can help you enhance the student experience, is because search is the only time your user is going to tell you exactly what they're looking for on your website. When someone searches something on your website, they're telling you exactly what they want and exactly what they expect from your university. And so those insights are really, really powerful. So this is our backend tool. This is our analytics. This is our dashboard that is for your content managers. And you know, I can do a number of things here. So this dashboard is designed to help you do really two main things, and of those two main things, there are a few functions underneath it. But the two main things that this dashboard is designed to do is to help you analyze your content and to help you optimize your content based upon what you've learned. So if you start with analyze your content, I can quickly get a handle on what people have been searching for, and I can even change timeframes as well. So I'm going to run a custom timeframe. I'm going to say, I want to know what people have been searching for from, let's say, last November 1st to October 31st. And I'm going to just apply that right now. So now I've got a bunch of search results coming back over that time period. I can see the top terms that people have searched for. I can see the top unanswered terms people search for. And unanswered terms could be a number of things. It could just be a hard misspelling, or it could be a case where someone has searched for something on your website and you just don't have a result for it. It could be a program you don't offer. It could be a program from a neighboring university that you might want to consider offering. But that's what unanswered keywords are. They're terms that have not returned any search result. And I can also see when people are searching as well, all the things that matter. I can see what people are clicking on as well. So beyond what people are searching for, I want to know really, well, once they search, what are they actually going to? What are they clicking on? And this information is what helps me make better decisions about the content that's most relevant for the things that people are searching for. And also, just generally speaking, when I'm looking to tailor and configure those facets, the ability for people to refine their search, well, what people are clicking on, I can see that. So every decision I make about the search experience, instead of it being based upon what I feel, it's grounded in analytics and fact. We've got some other things up here, spot them. So you can also see location. So if you have a lot of international students, well, you can see here where the people are searching from. You can also see the cities. So maybe if you're popular in one part of the country or one part of your state, you can see that as well. So these analytics are all being presented to you within this dashboard, but they can also all be exported. So you'll see right here, we have the ability to export them and download as, or even annotate them or print them out. These reports can be downloaded and then ingested into something like a Google Data Studio, or you can view them here if you like as well. So in addition to providing those insights into what people are looking for on your website, Funnelback, another way it helps your university, it helps your students, and helps enhance student experience is that we provide you a suite of web governance tools as well to help you understand your content better. And one of the things we provide out of the box is actually a full-fledged accessibility auditor. So because we're already indexing and looking at all of your content anyway, we can also help you make sure your content's more accessible. In the interest of time, I won't dive too deep into this, but out of the box, at no additional cost to universities, we provide universities the ability to actually check the accessibility of their content. You can scope it down to certain domains, and so if you have a web manager or content manager who's responsible for just their college, whether it be a grad school, whether it be School of Engineering and Science, we can scope it so that they only see the content that's relevant to them, and they can even track their progress over time. In addition to being able to audit the accessibility of your content, we also audit other factors of your content as well. What's the reading grade of your content? Is it mostly good? Is some of it insultingly low? Is it too are you using too many words? Is it too difficult for people to comprehend? How old is your content? Again, these are all things that matter to a content manager. Do you have undesirable text, which is a really nice way of saying misspelled words? Do you have missing metadata? Does your content take too long to load? All these things are insights that we provide to you right out of the box. So again, I mentioned that there are two things that the tool is good for. One is to analyze all your content. The other is to optimize based upon it. And so I talked to you about being able to basically react to things in your search. So what are people saying, and what are people searching for, and how do you react to that? How do you promote the content that matters the most at your university? So let me show you an example of that. this is our fictitious funnelback university. I'm going to search for the term engineering here. And much like what you've seen on the actual live websites, I get back this really awesome concierge experience right here. But I'm going to execute the search term. So I've searched for the term engineering. And the first thing, and one of the things you'll notice here is that I've got this video showing up right in line with the rest of my results, but it's being treated differently. And we've done that intentionally because we want your users to understand and notice that this result is a video. It's not the same as another blue link on the page. And when you've only got blue links on the page, then you can't discern what's the video and what's a directory result and such. So we've treated this differently than the rest of the results to highlight the fact that this is actually a video result. But I've also got this advertisement showing up here as well because winter quarter begins January 6th, and it's time for me to register for classes. And today is the deadline, actually. Now, I'm going to show you how this advertisement was created, how this promoted result was created, and how to change that promoted result. And so, winter quarter is a bit of an odd choice of language. And so I'm going to go over here. I'm going to go to Curator, and I'm going to change that term. And so here's calendar, right? And so essentially, if I search for the term calendar and I search for in this date range, then do this. Winter quarter begins January 6th. And I've got my advertisement, I've got a preview of it down here. So I'm going to say actually, let's change this to spring semester, which is more in line with the language we use. So now it says spring semester begins January 6th, register for classes by December 18th. Great, I like that. So I'm going to save and publish that. I'll just give it a second to update. Right, excellent. So now I can see that's been updated, it's been published. So I'm going to go back here, and I'm going to run the search term calendar. Great. And as you can see now, the language has been updated. The spring semester begins January 6th. It's really that simple. But if I wanted to say, actually, I don't like the way this looks, I want to unpublish this. I want to work on this a bit more, but I don't want to delete it. I can just quickly unpublish this, and it's pretty much instantaneous. The minute this updates and unpublishes this rule, if a user searches for something, they won't see your advertisement. The same is true if I turn it back on. It's really instant, which essentially allows your content owners, content authors, the power to quickly publish results. And so you can see now this result has been unpublished. If I go back over to that search term and I rerun the search, the promoted result is gone now because I've unpublished that rule. And so the same way I can quickly unpublish is the same speed I can publish curated results. And if I take this a step back and slow down for a second and actually talk to you more about curated results, this is what I mean when I say curated results. This right here is exactly what I've just shown you right over there. And the ability to set them up is, we give you that power right within this dashboard. And so these are all different rule types, the same as what you saw for accounting. So all you've got to do is when you set up a rule, say, when I search for a rule, I want it to match this criteria, and then this is my trigger. And then when it's triggered, then do this action such as display an advertisement, remove a result, promote the result to the top. All this is designed to give your content managers the power to really control the experience for your users and be able to present that relevant information to your users in as little time as possible, but as little friction as possible. Great. Okay. So I've breezed through this a bit because we've got, we're running out of time. But I do want to give some time for Q&A. And if there are any questions about something I've shown so far, I'm happy to go back and cover that as well. So Juan, if you don't mind, I'm going to open it up for Q&A.
So I know we covered a lot in a short amount of time. We have a few questions here that some people have written in. If you have any questions, please feel free to enter those now in the Q&A section, and we'll do our best to get through all of them. So we have a few here. So one of the questions coming in here, it says, the problem with having a lean team at a university. How is the implementation process, and how much time is required?
Right. Yeah, I see your question. Thanks for that one. So We have a really lean team here and wouldn't be able to do this ourselves. Do you guys help us implement this, and how much time is required from my staff? Right, okay. So everything I've shown you so far has been implemented by either us here or the product team themselves at Funnelback. We will help you implement it if you've got a lean team. We don't expect that folks will be able to, will just, go and run and set this all up themselves. Part of purchasing Funnelback or taking this tool is that we will help you implement it. We'll help roll it out. One of the things that is really important to note about this implementation, though, is that we've productized Funnelback, which means that even the implementation of it is productized. It's all templated. And so the amount of effort it takes to actually get this up and running is about 5 days of effort in aggregate on our side. Typically, we can deploy this solution in 6 to 10 weeks. And where a university lands on that side of it is fully dependent upon how much time they take to make decisions on things like how we want this to look and how we want to integrate with this and how we want to integrate with that. We'll help as much as you need us to help. We have some universities, such as University of Buffalo, one of the examples I showed you, where they want to do everything themselves. And that's okay. We took them through training, and then they just wanted the keys to the kingdom to explore and do everything themselves. And then you have other universities, such as LMULA, where the product team implemented that and just worked with the university. The amount of time we need from a university, if you're worrying about having a lean team, we probably need your resources in aggregate of maybe 5-6 hours. And again, most of that time will be dedicated towards us just getting feedback from you about how you want Funnelback to look and feel within the context of your website. Cool. Next question.
Great. Yeah, we have a question coming in here asking, does Funnelback integrate with Drupal and/or WordPress?
Yes, so great question. So Funnelback, so I mentioned earlier, you would have heard me use a funny term such as the product team. So Squiz, we're the parent company to the search product Funnelback. The reason why we're a parent company and we've spun Funnelback off as our own separate company is because Funnelback is a really, really awesome intelligent search tool. And we at Squiz also have other parts of that DXP that I mentioned earlier, such as content management, analytics. And what we don't want is for people to think that Funnelback is intrinsically tied to the rest of our platform. It isn't. Funnelback has been designed to be platform agnostic. I can actually send examples for whomever is interested. But one of the websites I shared with you earlier, LMULA, this is on Terminal 4. We've got the UND example, I believe it's in Drupal. Funnelback is designed to be completely platform agnostic. It doesn't matter what CMS you have, it can integrate. It's a very lightweight integration.
Okay, great. I have another question here saying, one of the challenges I have with the current search tool I'm using is that it doesn't allow me to include other domains in the search results. Is this true for Funnelback?
Well, no. I don't. Without getting too technical here, the way that Funnelback works in the background is that essentially you provide us URLs to all the domains that you want to be presented to your search users, and we'll just collect them all and we'll search those URLs. And so there's no limit on the number of domains you can search. We can index if you've got your .edu and microsites and other properties you want to index. There's no hardware limitation on indexing those other domains as well. So that wouldn't be a challenge with Funnelback.
Okay. Another question we have here: how are the course feeds generated? Is that managed in 2 different places? Would the same be true for events?
Right. Okay. So by course feed, I'm assuming you're talking about this right here, so program feed. Right, and so we can accomplish this a number of ways. So typically, when you're looking at these distinct feeds, such as programs or people, or in the case of LMU, programs, events, we can integrate a number of ways. And so one way we can do it and the simplest way actually, is by you just passing us a feed directly from your program of your back office system of record. So in the case of programs, that could be a course catalog like Accolog, or another course catalog, and we'll just take a feed directly from there. That way you just manage the content in your course catalog, and as that is updated, the feed gets updated. Same is true for the directory, same is true for events. If your directory is housed inside of an ERP, we can just take a feed. If your events are from an event platform, then we can do the same for that as well. In some cases, we can integrate directly with the platforms, but for simplicity's sake, we usually just take a feed because it's just easier and lightweight and allows us to move quicker and it reduces the cost. But yeah, we can integrate a number of ways. But normally, we just take the feed to make it easiest for the university, so they just manage that data in one place. So no need to manage it in two places, just manage it where it lives, and we'll get a feed and take that data and ingest it and present it.
Okay, great. We're going to do one last question. We want to be very cognizant of time here. So how easy is it to grant access to certain users to do certain things within Funnelback?
Yeah, it's quite easy actually. As I mentioned earlier, I was going through the example of being able to create scoped views for users that are from a specific department or from a specific college. So there's no limit on the number of users you can have within Funnelback. And so if you need to provide a content manager from a school access to their content only, so they can see insights for their content only, or see their accessibility results for just their content only, you can do that right from within the admin dashboard. It's really simple and straightforward, and like I said, there's no implication on the license costs because there's no we don't charge by user count or anything like that, and so it's quite straightforward. Thanks, Juan. Right, and so before I let you guys go, I want to tie back what I've shown you today to some of the outcomes we were speaking about earlier when I was going through the gloom and doom of why search is so important. So what Funnelback provides at its core, what Funnelback for Higher Education provides at its core is an intuitive gateway for students to discover critical content you've created to drive admissions and student success. Universities create a ton of content to help drive admissions and applications and to help students succeed while they're at the university. But if students can't find that content once they're on your website, it doesn't matter. It's almost all being done in vain. Universities also are empowered with the ability to promote mission-critical content. So much like what you saw at Cvtc, if you want to promote how to apply in your process, you can do that. If you want to promote programs and information about your programs or promote events, you have the ability to do that as well, right from Funnelback's dashboard that we showed you. The university is also provided with actionable insights into what students are looking for and easy steps to optimize the experience leveraging those insights. And so as I shared with you, the dashboard tells you everything your students are looking for. And again, one of the awesome things about search is that search is one of the only times where if you look at the reporting, it's going to tell you exactly what people were looking for, because that's what search is. They're telling you what they're looking for. And then you have the ability to action those insights. Full ownership of the student search journey, i.e. no more leaving the discovery of your content to chance. What we hear a lot of times at universities is that they'll say, oh yeah, the students know our search is terrible, so they just search Google for our school and whatever they're looking for. Google is a fine tool, but that leaves a lot to chance. At that point, you lose that student journey. You lose the opportunity to present the content that you want to that student or take them down a path of what you want them to see. They basically just get to wherever they have to get to without seeing, the journey that you want to take them down. So that's certainly a missed opportunity. And by actually focusing on your search within your property, you can stop the behavior of students just hopping out of your website to search for things on your website, which is, no one would do that with Amazon or any other, good website. And lastly, improve existing web experiences with search, for example, your program finder or your directory or your event catalog. If you feel like people are struggling to find your programs and discover information about your programs or find students or staff, in the directory, you can enhance those experiences with Funnelback. It's not just for site search, it's also enhancing existing experiences as well. So as I promised, we'll share this. This will become live content, so I believe we'll be sharing this with everyone who attended today. But part of what we're sharing is actually the live examples we showed you today. And so you'll be able to search on your own, and so that we've not just made this up. These are all live sites that you can search on your own, as well as some resources if you want some more information about our product. That's it. So if anyone's interested in learning more, or you want to chat to me about your specific challenges at your university with search, please do reach out. You can either head to our website or email me directly or give me a call. We'd love to chat to you. We'd love to work with you to help you enhance the experience for your students. Thanks, and thank you guys all for joining.
Just really quick, thank you everyone for your time, for attending, and for all your wonderful questions. And of course, thank you, Caesar, for the fantastic presentation. Please be on the lookout from an email from us with the recording and the slides in the next couple of days. And lastly, happy holidays to all of you, and enjoy the rest of your Wednesday.